Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So behind me I got an '06 Toyota Avalon. This one has the 3.5 liter V6, and today we are going to be replacing the belt. Now before we go ahead and begin guys, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Definitely smash that like button because it helps the channel out. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So the first step that you want to do to remove your belt on this vehicle, guys, is you have to remove your passenger front wheel. I'm not going to cover that. You guys should know how to remove the wheel by now. Otherwise, look it up. But we already have our wheel off, just to save on the video. And what we're going to be doing here is this panel that you see, we have to remove it. It's held in place by a couple 10mm bolts. I'm going to get the camera set up, get some better lighting in there, and I'll show you guys how we remove it. What you're going to do is remove this 10mm bolt here and get that bolt out of the way, and the other one here. And once you remove that, your panel should be coming off just like that. Now you guys can see we got a lot of room and access to our crankshaft there and our belt area. This is what's going to help us mainly in the removal of this. Now what I'm going to do is get the car lifted up a little bit more, get the camera positioned. I'll probably have to face you guys pointing up like that in that direction so you guys can see clearly what we're doing. So we got our cover off, and this is going to be a general overview. You guys can see some of the pulleys. However, the frame and a motor mount and some other things are in the way. Now, just to give you guys a good idea, our crankshaft is here. Our tensioner is right here. We have our AC compressor. Up top, where you can't see, is an alternator, an idler pulley. This is our our water pump pulley, our idler pulley that's below, and then we have our power steering pump in the back. It's a very unique situation, but this engine is shoehorned in this car. It is an Avalon. It does have a bigger engine bay, but it's still pretty tight working on this thing. And just want to give you guys a good reference point. The easiest way to do it is down here. Now in this video I can't cover the up top and the bottom to show you guys the full process, so when it comes time to putting on our new belt, I'll just be pointing out that I'm looping it over whichever pulley I'm doing it from, so just be advised of that. What I'm going to do next is get you guys zoomed in on this tensioner assembly, and we're going to go ahead and remove our belt. So now it's time to remove the belt. In order to do that, we got to release the tension off our belt tensioner, which is right here. The way we're going to do that is we got a 14mm wrench. Now you can use whatever tool you like, guys. I just like using this. And the way this works is you're going to put your wrench on the 14mm front face of it, just like that. And to release the tension, you're going to want to pull back on it. Now, it's very difficult for me to do this on camera because I got to be where the camera is. All you have to do is basically pull it out like that. And once you have it pulled out, you can typically come in here. And let me see if I can remove it off any of these pulleys. And I apologize, guys, because I know I'm blocking the camera view, but if you guys can see, I was successful at getting the belt off just like that. Now be very careful when it comes down to releasing this, because this wrench is going to want to get stuck on here. What I typically do is I'll come in with a pry bar and release it and hold the tension so I can get my wrench off and slowly release that tension. Now it's however you want to do it. You can also put a lock pin right up here in this area if you have it, so you can keep the tension on it while you're working on it. However, that's if you have those tools required for that, or a drill bit or whatever you can put in there. Now I figured I would show you a quick tip too, because I mentioned it in the last clip. Let's say you're using a long wrench like this and you can't get it off and you don't want to sit there messing with the tension. What you're going to do is go ahead and grab it and go ahead and pull it far back as you can. And right up here on your tensioner, you can do a drill bit or a screwdriver or something and put it in there, and you guys can see you can lock your tension down and hold it. Now normally you want to use something that's very sturdy, guys, because that can be a little bit of tension on that, but I find this little baby screwdriver that I've had for years definitely works. And now you guys saw me remove my wrench. We can go ahead and remove our belt and unloop it from everything. Pay attention to how everything goes around here, because the diagram is very important. If you wind up losing track, you can actually Google it and look it up, but if you just take a picture or make a mental image, it's usually the best thing. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and just take off your old belt, just kind of pull it out of the way. What I find is that they usually get hung up on the water pump up here and the alternator, guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just get everything worked out of here. This top part right here can be a little difficult, but get your belt off just like that. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and grab the new one. With our old belt out, and we got our new belt here, guys. And I went ahead and I measured it. Everything is correct. What I'm gonna do is start looping it back around the pulleys. Now here's the thing, the camera is where I want to be, so I'm not gonna be able to film the process of putting it back on the pulleys. But to give you guys a general idea, what you're gonna do is start feeding it up, putting it on your pulleys, follow your diagram of how you took it off, and set it back on all of those pulleys. I will show you once I set it back into place how everything looks. And the good thing about this is, since we put our screwdriver or a pin in there to hold the tensioner, we can freely loop it around everything and put it into place, and it should go on because there's no tension holding the system, so it makes it a lot easier. So our belt is put back into place, and I looped it around everything. It's actually really easy with this locker on there, guys, with a little screwdriver. Now, the way I started this off is I started with my alternator, with my idler up there, and my compressor pulley. Then I went above to my power steering pump. I'm sorry, my water pump. I don't know why I keep calling it a power steering pump. Then I went on the pulley back there and our power steering pump, which is right there. Then I came back around and got it over my crankshaft and our tensioner pulley, which is right there. It was a little bit of a snug fit, and a challenging portion is between the crankshaft and the water pump. The water pump has a groove pulley, and the belt will contact it up top and on the bottom, and the belt also has to fit in between here as well. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but you guys can see the belt loops twice from there and there. So getting both ends to fit here was a little bit of a tight squeeze. You have to really push it in there, but we were able to get it in. With our belt being back into place, it's in the correct position. We have to remove our screwdriver. Now, it's never a good idea to just come in here and try to pull it out, because chances are it's not going to come out. What you're going to want to do is grab your wrench and put it on there. Now, I'm going to be switching up my wrench. I'm actually going to use the shorter wrench, because all I have to do is release the tension a little bit and then let it go backwards. And my long one, it can be a little problematic when it comes to this, because it is a longer wrench. So we're going to go on there. We're going to get our hand up there, remove our tension. Now, one thing I am going to do here is probably put this a little lower, because I don't want it to ride up too much here. So let's see if I can just get this to do it. All right. And then you just go ahead and take off your holder tool, whether you use a drill bit, a screwdriver, or if you actually have a little pin tool, whatever you prefer. And now that you have that off, your belt is in place, and everything should be good. Now make sure your belt is in the full groove position, meaning you got it on every pulley fully. If you are missing a tooth on one or the other, you can do what's called a bump start, where you don't really start the engine, just kind of crank it and stop to get the belt to try to go into its correct position before fully starting it. But in this scenario, we got everything exactly where it should be. We don't have that issue. So the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and reinstall our panel here and install our tire. So with the belt on, we're going to take our plastic panel, and we are just going to line it up with everything. You got to pull back on this liner, guys, to get that first bolt to line up. But once you get it into place, give it a couple threads by hand, and let's get our secondary bolt in there. And once you start off your thread, then just take your 10mm and go ahead and put this back into place, just like that. Now that we have that, guys, what we're going to do is go ahead and install your tire. Now, I'm not going to cover reinstalling the tire. It's pretty easy. But once you install the tire, what you're going to do is go ahead and start the car. Just check to make sure that the belt, everything is on correctly. But also do a lot of checks before you start that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my wheel on. I'll take you guys up top, and we're going to do a quick check on there before we start it up. Now that we got the wheel back on, what I did off camera, because this car is very difficult to actually get in there and see the belt drive, is I just made sure that all of my pulleys on top were correctly installed on the belt. Everything was lined up. And you always want to check that before you start the car, guys, because if it's on halfway, it may fling a belt and possibly hit you. Another good thing is exactly where the camera is at, which is right in front of the car. You don't want to have anyone or yourself standing there after you do this job, at least not until you start the car. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up now, and let's see. We are in good shape. I can check everything. After we started our engine, we checked everything. Everything was good. I cut the engine off. I was trying to talk in the last clip over the engine running. You guys couldn't hear me. But while it's running, you just want to check, make sure your belt isn't wobbling anywhere. Make sure everything looks normal. No abnormal noises or anything of that nature. And once you verify that, guys, you're pretty much all set and done. It is a little bit tight on this vehicle to do this engine belt, because you guys can see it's a really big engine in a mid-sized car here. But other than that, you know, it's not too bad. It's just tight confines, but anyone can do this in their driveway. Shouldn't take you more than an hour at best. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So that's how easy it is to replace a belt on a Toyota Avalon, guys. Now, I'm filming the outro because I forgot to grab it while the car was here. But it was quick, simple, and easy. Tight confines, but nothing that is, you know, going to cause you to not be able to do it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe because it definitely helps the channel grow. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.